So, my guest tonight is an amazing human being. He is always known for showing love and support, playing a variety of games, as well as having a chill vibe. We're gonna dive deep into more lore about the channel, what is played mostly, and what they're up to, how they got on Twitch, and more. He's one amazing human being, such a lovely streamer to watch. I'm happy to welcome one of my friends, Andy, known as Andy underscore Havoc on Twitch, to tonight's episode of Twitch Tea Time.
Yo, how's it going, Blue? Thank you so much for having me on here. I appreciate that very much.
No worries. My pleasure is mine. So in this space, we're going to talk about everything from gaming, Twitch, even path to partner, as well as some mental health topics and more. So the listeners, just grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And the first question I ask before I start is, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I just ate a little bit, got some stuff done around the house, and, just kind of relaxing for the rest of the day, but I'm doing really, really well.
That's good. That's good. So can you tell us about how you discovered Twitch, how you decided to become a streamer, and a little bit about the channel?
Yeah, so I have always been very much into like watching YouTube content creation kind of things. I like just watching interactions and feeling kind of like I'm back in time, essentially. Like, my thing is retro a lot. Like, I like a lot of retro stuff. I don't always do retro, but my idea is just kind of that environment where you're back in your basement or your friend's basement or wherever, just hanging out, playing a game together. You don't have to actually like be playing the game, but just kind of being there with that environment.
You feel, and I think that neon light and that retro feel to it. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, big time. So that whole thing is kind of like what got me into YouTube. Is like, even if I'm not around people, I can kind of feel like I am, because, a group of people playing a game together, or, just an interesting topic that I enjoy watching about, or, like a particular genre of music or band or whatever, I could just watch it there, and there's people that have different opinions, but, it's a place where, like I said, we're creating, and you can kind of feel like you're in that environment with other people, like-minded people. And so I always loved YouTube. I watched it for, years and years, but never had an idea about technology or anything like that. So I always wanted to do YouTube. And so for like 6 or 7 years, I was considering it, talking myself in and out of it, didn't really have a whole lot of support behind it either. So I was just kind of like, let's just put all that on hold and I'll keep watching or whatever,
Yeah.
And so, a few years down the road, I'm working at a job out here. And one of my friends and I had been playing games, just day in and day out, every time we have some time to hang out together, time off. And we had a bunch of friends that wanted to get involved too, but, we couldn't always fit people in the parties or whatever. Usually it's 4 to 5 people in a squad.
As I was going to say, like, sometimes some games restrict you to 3. Like, for example, Dead Island 2 is like only 3 people. For example, like Fortnite, you can have a squad of like 4. Most games have 4. Some games have 6. Others have 8. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we had a bunch of people that wanted to rotate in and out, or also, like, if we're playing like Skyrim or something, we both loved Skyrim. We'd hang out and just play. Yeah. It's so good, and we would be, in a party, like an Xbox party, just talking about the game and playing together, but not,
One of my friends earlier on an earlier episode, like an episode or 2 before, he plays Skyrim the most, and he has, brace yourself, over 1,500 mods.
God,
I know.
Yeah, that's wild.
I know, and the game actually died on him. Like I don't know, it didn't hold up. So I was like, of course it's not gonna hold up. There's like 1,500 mods.
Yeah, that thing was probably on fire. That's crazy. Oh my God. But yeah, so we'd just be interacting, hanging out, playing games and stuff like that. And it was just kind of like, how do we get more people involved in this and not, single anybody out or leave anybody feeling left out? So my friend was like, we should probably stream this, like we could stream it and then people could rotate in and out, and people could watch and hang out and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, that's, a cool idea, but I don't know a thing about streaming and I've never even considered it. So, we're just doing our thing one day, and I was like glancing through the Xbox apps, and I saw like just the go live on Twitch notification, or not notification, but the button on there.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. I mean, just 3-4 months of streaming straight from the Xbox. Me and my friend, people would rotate in, we'd hang out, I mean, it was just, a whole bunch of people from work or, school, or even people around the country that we knew that we couldn't really connect with often or ever anymore were able to kind of hang out there. So it was just a way of connecting with people. And that's how, the stream all started. And it kind of just grew from there without even, really trying. Nothing really, I had an idea of what I wanted. I wanted people to just kind of come in and, like we were talking about earlier, that retro vibe, feel like you were just hanging out with your friends in, a bar or your parents' basement or wherever, just like playing games back in the day. I don't know. I mean, just one of those like really tight knit, close feelings of people just talking about whatever and hanging out and just enjoying the moments, and so that's kind of where it just went from there.
Yeah. So where did the name Andy Havoc come from, and why Havoc?
So it was a name I used for a while. I used to play in a few different bands, like back on the East Coast for a while.
Oh, and wow. What genre did you play?
Kind of anything, really. I mean, we played like kind of like an 80s new wave, music, synth wave kind of thing. We also had some heavier stuff that we played. Yeah, just a lot of different genres together. I mean, I really like heavy music. I like 80s music. I like all kinds of stuff.
I make music myself, and I'm on the verge of like releasing my second vocal album. It's all made with AI because like here, like I always got like half-assed responses of like, oh, when I record, and like nobody was there. So I was like, well, there's this AI that I found, and it's like pretty good, so I paid for it, and I'm using it. So I ended up with like 2 or 3 albums from it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I used to record back in the day too.
This one is kind of like deep house with some what do you call it? Hard style.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and then I did the next one is gonna be very shocking because like I delve into deep dark. There's even a song about suicide on the album. So it's a metal, dubstep, and rock.
Yeah, that's a good mix, and they usually work pretty well together too. But that's it's cool doing stuff like that. It's just like you don't.
Yeah.
I found that more than anything with Twitch or YouTube or whatever I've been doing. It's like if you just don't tell yourself what to do and you just let yourself kind of go, you'll find your way around the creative space. Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't matter. You just don't put yourself in a box, and it's just cool that you're doing what you want to do. I love that.
Yeah. So do you remember what the first game you ever streamed was?
Yeah, Fortnite. That's literally all I knew at the time. Like, I was very limited because the Xbox itself, I mean, I was on an original Xbox One streaming. So like there was no space on the thing. Yeah, it was tough. It was like no space. I had no games, no real experience with games. Yeah. That's the funniest thing about it. Like I usually just get in games and stuff for the social aspect. I don't really care what the game is, and I'm not super particular about it. So, for years, all I really played was like Fortnite, Apex, Rocket League, whatever would fit on the Xbox. And that was it. I didn't really know about any new releases or anything, especially if it was solo games, because even though I love playing solo, I'd rather play or hang out with other people,
Yeah. So do you still play Fortnite nowadays?
Not usually. Occasionally I'll jump on. I actually just downloaded it again a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. The new
Played
season
a few rounds,
is about Fallout. The last season was Greek mythology involved. I play a lot of Lego Fortnite recently because I love the survival crafting aspects of the games.
Yeah, I love survival games, and when they had Lego Fortnite, I definitely played a little bit of Lego Fortnite as well. I love that. That's just such a fun take on a survival genre.
I have it on my Switch. People often ask me like, are you crazy? How does it run on the Switch? I'm like, well, at work I get bored. I jump into Lego Fortnite. I just build stuff, destroy stuff, just mess around and then leave.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Yeah,
and as long as you're enjoying it, who cares? Yeah, that's all that matters.
Definitely. You do, as you said, you do a variety of games, but you're more focused on retro. Uh, are there any other games or game genres that you are willing to try and haven't tried yet?
Well, yeah. So the funny thing is, like, when I first started streaming, it was, like we were talking about Fortnite, Rocket League, just kind of whatever I could find. And then
Yeah.
I loved incorporating in old school Mario stuff, the retro games. But something I found that I never would have ever ventured out to do outside of streaming is like the horror genre. I mean, like Phasmo and
Oh wow.
Demonologist, stuff like that. Like all these, I have more
Yeah.
horror games and horror game experience now streaming than anything else, and it's something I would have never done ever on my own. Wouldn't
I
even
mean,
consider it before.
I mean, hence the name. I mean, Havocs. You can wreak havoc in them. I guess I was doing Dying Light. Like, I ended
Oh,
like
yeah.
an hour ago. I was doing Dying Light. My friend is still going on Dying Light, and I have him on the second monitor. I just love zombie games. Like, I hate first person games, but just
Yeah.
if it involves zombies, you have my heart.
Yeah, I've been playing 7 Days to Die like religiously over the last couple of
You've
weeks.
had
It's been
you've had it
unreal.
open for 9 hours. I've noticed.
Oh yeah, that's literally all I've been doing. If I am awake and I'm even if if I'm streaming, if I'm not streaming, whatever the case is, I've been on 7 Days to Die. It's been so fun.
7 days to die, 7 days a week.
Yeah, literally, exactly. Totally.
Yeah. So, can you tell me a bit about like the path to partner and how it happened and what was your reaction?
Yeah, so when I got onto Twitch, I knew nothing about Twitch. I knew nothing about partner, affiliate, none of that stuff. So, the first couple of weeks of streaming, we hit affiliate, and I didn't know what that meant. So if I, was, I guess, had more experience with Twitch, I don't know how it would have changed anything, but from that point on, I was kind of like, oh, there are little goals you can hit. So I was very interested in like, okay, what, those milestone trackers and things like that, for instance, like the VIP badge one, or like the watch a certain amount of hours.
Streak, yeah.
Exactly. So all those things, and I started getting more interested in like what all that meant. But at the same time, I was like, we didn't do this with any goals in mind, or like we didn't do it with any, hardcore, like we have to hit this, we have to do that. So I was like, I'm just going to keep this stream the way it is and just keep going and have those goals in mind, have an idea of like how to hit them, but not actually like act on them actively. I don't want to drive people away or put any pressure on anybody. I mean, it's like, my whole philosophy has been it's nobody's job to be in my stream. Just because I'm live doesn't mean anybody has to be there or do anything for me. So like, I'm happy to just stream and entertain and talk and do whatever. And if people want to be part of that, they can, but nothing ever required. And I want people to just have a place to go and
Yep.
feel like they can just exist there without worrying about that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
that kind of started that whole mentality. And I think 2 years in or so, I was getting quite close to unlocking that partner application. And so in January of, I think it was 2023, so about 2 years after I started, I was so close. I was like, we'll just stream. I don't usually like advertise when I'm going live or anything. But I was like really hardcore. Like, we are very close to doing something. So let's just, I'm going to say when I go live, I'll stream for however many hours or whatever, and then we'll try to unlock this partner application. So we did like kind of like a partner push thing there. And I didn't know what would happen. I just wanted to see what could happen. And, it was a very both like valuable learning moment, and also like it was a good and a bad thing, I guess. And the good was like, okay, we unlocked the partner application. We did have a success there. I was able to apply a couple of times, but I learned what they were really looking for behind the scenes, because they have like, they say 75 average viewers, a certain amount of hours and things like that.
And a certain amount of days, like you have to keep your average for a few streams.
Exactly. So yeah, what's like advertised is 30 days of 75 average, but it's 75 average without raids and things like that. So it's got to be a natural 75 average, which is something I didn't even realize was a thing. So that was valuable to learn. And then also, they wanted you to have like, I think 3 more months before that of very similar numbers or trending up or, you know, stuff like that. So there was a lot more criteria involved than just what's advertised under the Path to Partner thing.
Yeah.
So just kind of learned about that. And then after that, like month and a half to 2 month time around February, I was like, you know, that's enough. Like we tried. Yeah, exactly. We did a lot of things. I just don't want to put that pressure again, like on anybody, you know. I know people were excited and there were probably more people pushing for it than just myself. And I was like, oh, that'd be, you know, cool to do. But mostly I kind of just wanted to, you know, just get the check mark and never think about it again. Just keep on streaming after that, you know, like nothing ever happened. Cause I feel like a lot of times people will, you know, do different things or try very different methods or be like all in with not just their stream, but their community. And then like after they get the check mark, they just go either they burn out from doing all that effort and extra stuff, or they go back to what it was before and it's just not the same, or it's been, you know, very taxing or whatever. So I wanted to just like make sure that didn't happen. So then a year later, my friend Palmer was talking to me and he goes, so you don't have a schedule. You've never had like a Twitch schedule or anything like that. You know, like I know you're close to Partner and you've been close to Partner for almost a year now. Like, you know, I think a schedule might help you. And I wasn't opposed to a schedule, but at the same time, like I didn't think, you know, it would make that big of a difference, I guess. But, you know, again, that was just kind of my viewpoint looking at it, where he was like, you know, people ask me when you're live and I don't know what to tell them. And I'm like, I guess I never thought of it like that. So November 1st of 2023, I set a hard schedule. It was 4 days a week, same time every single day. You know, we could end whenever, but we started at the same time. So that way people didn't have to think about it. Nobody had to memorize anything. It was like, oh, he's on at this time, you know, it doesn't matter what day, because if he's on, he's on. If he's not on that night, whatever. So it's just very easy, very like, you know, nobody has to really memorize anything or go out of their way to find it. And I mean, an immediate impact. Like the average viewers doubled almost overnight. I want to say within the first 2 weeks, you know, it kind of like, you could see people kind of like catching on and things like that. And then 2 to 3 weeks into the new schedule, I mean, it was just like immediately up there. So again, you know, right there beyond any numbers I had ever had before. And I was like, okay, well, the schedule obviously is helping and we'll just keep riding it out. And ever since then, it's been awesome. But right from that, like end of November time to early January, I had applied a couple more times and was denied a couple more times too. And the reasons were just the first time I didn't have my VODs on, and they want you to have your VODs on to review VODs. So that was easy enough. I just turned the VODs on. The next time it was, we need more consistency. So what they were looking at is like, yeah, the last month was great, but the few months before that, you know, you had an 80 average for the month, a 60 average for the month, a 75 average for the next month. It was just like all over the place and there was no consistency. So going back to what I was saying about the, you know, 3 months of consistency before. So they wanted to see more of that, which, you know, I wasn't ever upset about the process or the requirements or anything like that. I totally get it. And I wish it was, you know, very strict and hard, because that's how it should be. I mean, it's something that should be a very community based, like we all achieve this together. It was hard to achieve it, but we did it, not just, you know, give it away. And so like after a couple more attempts, it was, you know, mid-January or so. And then my 6th attempt or 5th attempt, I think it was the 6th attempt. I was finally accepted in there, and it, you know, it just took a couple extra months of consistency, and I didn't even expect it at that point. But the whole thing was like, there was never any like labels for Partner Push. There was never any, you know, this time around it wasn't like, oh yeah, everybody get in here, or I'm gonna, you know, tell you all when I'm going live every single time I go live. It was just kind of subtle changes. Just have a schedule. You know, get into a habit and just do whatever I wanted to on stream and have a good time.
Yeah.
I know something that hurt me.
Sometimes like myself, I struggle a lot with having a schedule, because I'm like, sometimes my HR tells me it's like, you have this day off, for example, but you can't have this day off next week. For example, like this week she gave me Wednesday and Thursday, and the last 2 weeks I had Tuesday and Thursday. I'm like, okay, so I can choose Wednesday as my stream because Wednesday I do stuff. So it's either Tuesday or Thursday. So I set up like Saturday is my fixed schedule, like nothing will change. But then I could veer between Tuesday and Thursday, so which is quite confusing, but I'm used to it now.
Yeah, I've noticed, I mean, outside of like days and stuff, start times have been like the most important thing. Because even looking back, I didn't have a schedule when I first started streaming, but I worked full time. And so, I would get off work at about 8 or 9 p.m. every single night and be on stream by 9:30 to 10 every single night. So nobody even really had to know when I was going live because I was live every day at that same time. And, I never thought about that. So when I didn't work anymore and I was just streaming, I'd go live at like 8 a.m. I'd go live at noon. I'd go live at 9 p.m. Nobody would have any idea when it was, including myself. And, a lot of people say like, hey, it's good to just kind of stream when you feel it, stream when you want to, do this and that. And I get that. I tried it out. I did it for, a year or whatever. But man, I tell you what, having that schedule has been amazing for me because I know that each week, 4 days a week at that time, I go live on this channel. And then I can plan or revolve anything else I want before or after that outside. So there's no guesswork, there's no thinking, there's no just like, it was like working before. It was like that anchor. Like I didn't have any hate or anything about my job. I actually enjoy working and had no problem working, but it was kind of that anchor piece in my life where I wake up, I go to work, and then after that, whatever happens. I can stream, I can, work on the house, I could do whatever. But, there's that like blocked off time. And so my main stream has become that like blocked off time that I can kind of like revolve everything else around. And for me, it's very relaxing to know I don't have to think about, oh, well, when should I stream next? Or, how long should the stream be? Or should I do 2 streams today? I don't know. Because it's like all the guesswork is just gone. It's like, no, you stream these 4 days and then everything else you want to do is just extra. Like you could stream on the other channel. You could make YouTube stuff here and there. It all just becomes all this extra like side questy kind of stuff instead of, just piecing together everyday life. So it's nice to have some kind of structure, at least in my eyes. And it's helped a lot with everything.
Yeah. So what games or genres you'd never, ever see yourself playing?
Something like League of Legends, that type of game. And, anything super competitive where you need to like really be a team and it's a lot of like time investment into each game. Those kind of games, Smite, that kind of stuff. I can't. When it comes to streaming, like I'm way focused on chatting and talking more than the game. The game's kind of just the background thing. So less the genre, more just the, the involvement I would need to do. Cause like if I'm playing Phasmophobia, for instance, it's great. Cause like I can go in the house, I can do what I got to do.
Yeah.
And if I get a raid or, people want to talk or we're in a topic or something like that, I can just stand in the van or stand outside for a little bit and nothing changes. But if like, I'm playing with a whole bunch of buddies or we have a team set up and we're playing some team game like that, where it's like, you invest many, hours of your life into this thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not pulling my weight. Like it's just a bad feeling. So I probably wouldn't play anything like that, I would think.
Yeah. Sorry. What are your opinions on, hold on. Sorry, what are your opinions on Phasmophobia? Because I think it's kind of like a repetitive game where like I don't find joy in it anymore.
Yeah, so for me, I'm very jumpy, and it gives a lot of opportunity for fun jump moments. Because I mean, it doesn't matter how much I play it, I don't get used to it. Most of the time, it's mostly because like I'm not paying attention as hard as I should be or could be, and then something will happen, and it's instant right in my face, and that scares me. And then the other thing is it just has a lot of interactive possibilities with chat. Like, sometimes we can set challenges and things like that, or, the sound alerts and things. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that's always fun for me. I like to see what kind of things we can do, you know, as a community with clips and things like that too. You know, people can jump in and play, so I don't do it too often, but every now and then people can jump in and hang out and play and stuff like that. But I think more than anything, the game is great because I can just jump out, take breaks, talk, do whatever. But as a game itself, I really like it because anything can happen. It's the only ghost hunting game I've really played, or like horror game, where it's not nearly as formulaic as some of the other ones. Because like Demonologist, for instance, was like, you know, supposed to be the scarier like Phasmo clone or something, and it is scarier when you first play it. Because, you know, things happen, like stuff jumps out of the wall. There's very weird interactive things, you know, but that's the same thing every map, every time. Like if you go into the hospital, the same things are going to happen every time. Whereas Phasmo, if I go into a room, I could be attacked or hunted like almost immediately, or nothing will happen forever. You know, different ghosts do different things. It's just like, it's kind of, for me, the fear of the unknown is worse than anything. Like, I don't know what this ghost is going to be or what it's going to do, you know? So it's just one of those kind of things. I don't think it's necessarily like when you break it down or you're playing it and you're like hard focused on it, I don't think it's that scary anymore. But when I'm, you know, talking to chat or something and the ghost does an event on me, it gets me every time almost. So you know, I'm still pretty into it, and they've been changing it up a lot lately too. So there's always new things to discover in Phasmo.
Yeah, 100%. So what can we expect from you on Twitch in the future?
I'm trying to work on, so my other channel, I want to do more lifestyle-y kind of streams. So I want to do like the meal prep streams, workout streams, just, you know, around the house kind of streams and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So I want to do that, but since my phone can't really handle those kind of things, I do have a laptop. So I was trying to set up like another mic, like a lapel mic or something I could take around and just do different things like that. But I'm a little bit further away from that. And then something else I was thinking of is I definitely want to do some kind of music stream or you know, creating music at some point. I've been saying that for a while though, and I haven't been able to get the technology under me yet.
Yeah, I mean, you will need a MIDI, you will need like software, probably. You will need like something to plug, if you play guitar or something, to plug that in, you know?
Yeah, like I've had plugins and stuff like that before, and I have amps and like, you know, equipment and stuff. Now it's been so long since I've done anything with them. I mean, I have to relearn software from the ground up, and that's just the daunting task that I don't have time for yet. But those are a couple of the things that I was thinking about with the stream. Yeah.
So how many hours per day or week do you spend on Twitch in general?
I mean, the laptop is probably always on. Me personally sitting on Twitch, streaming, you know, it could be anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week between both channels. Yeah, and then as far as like viewing streams, I mean, I'm always, if I'm at the PC, so, you know, I'd probably say I'd wake up and then get on Twitch, whether I'm playing a game or recording YouTube stuff or whatever. I would have another monitor with a Twitch channel up, you know, at all times, pretty much just interacting or trying to hang out with people. You know, and that's the thing, as you grow your channel, like, you know, you don't want to support people less. It's just the time of day doesn't change, even though the places you have to be changes, you know? So trying to figure out how to multitask and give back in other ways has been my big thing. And, you know, whether it's through Twitch or off Twitch, like I've been really kind of vocal about that recently, but the amount of time I've been able to spend on Twitch is pretty much the same. I mean, you know, a good, I'd say 14 to 16 hours a day, easy.
Yeah. So to the new people out there who are just starting streaming or like are thinking about it, what is one advice you want to give them?
Do whatever you want on stream. Like the worst thing you could do is try to, you know, chase categories or views or other people. Styles. Yeah, I would say exactly. Just do exactly what you want to do on stream. Because, you know, if you're able to be someone different or you're trying to play a character or, you know, try and do things just to appease people or things like that, it's so easy to burn out that way. I mean, I started by doing only exactly what I wanted to do, and there was no rhyme or reason behind it. I just at the time was like, I'm playing games, I'm hanging out. Like, if I get one person to hang out with me, or even if I don't, I mean, I'm doing this anyway, so what's the difference? I mean, there's just a possibility of stuff happening. So, you can't control anything other than the amount of fun you have on stream because of the games you're playing and when you stream. So, don't put that expectation on yourself, and don't burn yourself out by trying to do all these other things. Like, just do exactly what you want to do.
So now we're gonna go into segment 2, which is the lightning round. So do you mind telling me and the listeners what's your daily routine? Like, something you always like to do has become regular?
Working out has always been kind of that thing for me, and that's just something that'll happen pretty much every day.
Okay. What's your favorite comfort food of all time?
Pizza. I think out here in Las Vegas, we have this pizza place that's just phenomenal, and it has a lot of meaning to me, so definitely pizza.
Any specific flavor you like? I love pineapple pizza. It has my heart.
I don't, any kind of pizza for me, as long as it doesn't have mushrooms on it, I'm pretty happy with. I mean, I like a buffalo chicken pizza, a thin crust, New York style, like pepperoni's real good. I just love that, everything about pizza.
Yeah. What's one thing you tell yourself often?
That tomorrow is not promised, so whatever's stressing me about the future does not matter right now.
Okay. If you ever were to be any object or creature, real or fictional, what would you be and why?
Probably a cat. I like cats a lot, but just they think they run the world, and that's probably a fun mentality to have as an animal.
yeah. I would probably be either a cactus or like a hybrid of a unicorn with two horns and wings.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I don't know. I think, situationally things can be understood or, perceived in different ways. One thing that's not like upsetting or it's kind of frustrating, but like when people are very willing to be sorry or apologize for things that I don't think they should. Like, I get it, and that's why it's hard to call it a pet peeve, because I know people have good intentions with it. But like when somebody says like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I haven't been watching enough in your stream" or something like that. Like I'm just like, please don't worry about that. Like, it drives me crazy because it's like that is just not the goal of the stream. It's not my intention. I don't want anybody to feel like And like I say, it comes from like a place of obviously love and everything. But like, man, it's just God, I cannot say that enough. Like, do not worry about that kind of stuff. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. If this was the last day on Earth, what would you do and how would you spend it?
I would probably go hang out with Bubbles all day, and then, whatever we do, hang out, eat food, whatever, but just spend the day with her.
In your opinion, what do you think is the worst invention ever?
Cell phones. I think.
Oh, wow.
I think it was the best invention when it was just a phone, and now it's a device that wastes millions of hours a day around the world. And
trespassing and taking over our daily life,
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's the thing. I mean, it's just easy access to very detrimental things, and, people are spending money at the touch of a button as soon as they wake up. People are, wasting hours and hours of time scrolling, and It used to be an emergency device. Yeah, I am stranded. I have a phone. Now it's like, oh, I am stranded.
Necessity.
With my phone, essentially. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
wild, but totally that.
Yeah. So, what's one thing you cannot live without?
Well, I guess at this point, I mean, it's got to be Twitch and just the stream in general. I mean, I literally couldn't pay bills without it.
Yeah, ditto here as well.
Yeah.
What's the worst video game you've ever played?
Wow, the sad thing is I revisited a game, Gex 64, which is so funny because a lot of people have just the fondest memories of that game, including me. I used to love that game, and then playing it again for YouTube, I was just like, wow, this is awful. I mean, it's just the worst controlling game. It's hard to look at in places. It's like, it was just a nightmare to play again.
Yeah. So what's one big red flag you can't handle in a person you just met?
When somebody acts like they've done a lot for you or will do a lot for you, it kind of throws me off because it's like, what are you trying to prove, Like, I don't do things to expect other, people to do things back for me. I don't do things to get things in return. I don't do things to like prove a point or to like, get some kind of credit. And when people like lead with that kind of stuff, it kind of makes me very uneasy.
Yeah. What's your comfort off-stream game in general?
Well, off-stream, not a lot really happens off-stream, and I guess it just depends. I mean, it like, it'll rotate to whatever anybody's really playing, I guess. I mean, we used to play Apex all the time after stream and just kind of hang out. Or now it's been 7 Days to Die, just kind of off stream, even though I play it on stream too. But just more of a social thing than a game specifically.
Yeah. If you had one special superpower, what would it be and why, and how would you use it?
I'd probably have flight. I think the ability to fly, and I would definitely transport stuff if I could. Maybe, I mean, it'd be great because I think if I could fly, I've had a dream or goal of like doing like a podcast on the road or like road trip streams and stuff, but travel and stuff like that has always been a problem. So I think flight would help with that. And I think it's just if somebody was stranded somewhere or like things like that. I mean, I think it would be very, very useful for many applications.
Yeah. What's one thing you spend a lot of money on besides games?
I guess this house mortgage payments. I mean, that's really all I spend money on.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you do with $1 million?
Pay off debts and the house, and then invest probably a couple $100,000 of that, and then the rest I would use to live off of, and then probably do some kind of like yearly giveaways. I don't need a whole lot, so even when I was like, working and making money, I was still giving away quite a bit to like either charity or just people's streams, just trying to make people's days. Not that I'm some great person or anything, I don't want to come off that way, but I'm just saying, like, I don't need to just kind of waste it on myself, and I have wasted money on myself in the past, so I've changed a lot of that around.
Yeah, this is one thing that I struggle with. Is like I have like a very low income paycheck. I tell myself, spend it on yourself, but then I go and spend it on my friends, getting games, subbing on Twitch, gifting subs.
Yeah.
Then I end up with like $20 when it's the 10th of the month. I'm like, okay. So kind of like-minded idea here.
Yeah, I feel it. I mean, I was at a job, like my last job. I mean, it was a great job, and I loved it for most of the years I worked there. There was a lot of restructuring and stuff the last year, which is why I don't have the job anymore. They got rid of most managers around the company and stuff, and it was fine. It wasn't a big deal. It just was, the timing was tough because I had just bought the house, and like, I was saying, I mean, I didn't really save money the way I could have and should have, I guess. But, you know, at the time I was making decent amounts of money and I would have just enough to live on. And then the rest would be, gifted subs or, you know, I didn't really buy games much either, though. Like, I did was spend money on, like, my living situation. And then if I went out with people from work, I'd try to pay for them or, you know, help people out if they needed something for the month or whatever. So, you know, and I didn't do it for any reason other than I just was like, I mean, what am I going to do with this otherwise? It's just either going to sit in the bank or I'm going to, you know, go to a casino or something. I mean, just like, it was just, what's the point, you know? Because I gambled for a lot when I first moved out here. And it was fun. It was something very different. But I was like, you know, I could just, how about instead of throwing a couple hundred into the slot machine, I could just give it to somebody that needs it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're in Nevada. You're in Nevada. You're prone, so it's Las Vegas there. So.
Yep. Yeah, everywhere. Literally, grocery stores have slot machines, so it's like, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, what am I doing? You know,
so it's for me, it's what to expect when I moved to SoCal. Yeah.
Definitely.
So this question is like divided into 3 parts. What's one of your all-time favorite songs?
Wasted Years by Iron Maiden.
Wow. Wow, yeah. What's one of your all-time favorite movies?
Big Lebowski. I don't think it's like an incredible movie, but it's, you know, it's got pretty good acting. It's funny, and it's a very comforting movie for me. I watched it for a while, like going through some crazy times and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's your comfort zone, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's one of your all-time favorite TV shows or series?
Oh, Seinfeld, hands down. Love it.
Yeah. I can hear the theme song every time someone says Seinfeld, that guitar plucks.
Yeah. And I have it as a sound alert in my channel, too, so people come in and play that as like a walk-on sound.
Yeah. Mine is, hands down, The Simpsons.
Yeah, Simpsons is great. And it's been on for as long as I've, you know, even been able to watch it.
They've been
one of those things.
They've been renewed for seasons 36 and 37, and I am jumping from joy. I am jumping.
That's so awesome.
Because, like, no offense, but, like, my dad is a carbon copy of Homer Simpson. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. Yeah. And I tell him this every day, and he's happy about it. I'm like, when I wear my Homer shirt, he's like, "Ooh, that's me." Yeah.
It's funny because, like, I remember way back in the 90s when, you know, the internet was first kind of becoming, you know, the prehistoric version of what it is today. And my dad was showing us some funny clips of The Simpsons on his PC. And it was probably like, you know, 96 or 97, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so season, I think, 6 or 7, hold on, 7 or 8, I think, at the time.
Yeah, it's just so funny because you don't even think about the internet back then, but like we were literally sitting in this, I mean, I distinctly remember this little like offshoot office thing off to the side. And, you know, we would just watch the same like 30-second clip over and over and we'd just laugh. I didn't even really know what was going on. I was so young at the time, you know, really.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to have those kind of memories around that.
Oh, yeah. My mom, I thank her so much because she opened up the path to The Simpsons for me because, like, my very first ever modern video game, when I say modern, it's like outside of Sega and Atari and those, it was on the PS2. She got me 2 games. She got me GTA San Andreas. I was like, I think in 2002 or 2003.
Yeah.
I was almost 8 or 9 years old. So she got me The Simpsons Hit and Run and GTA SA. So
yeah. Classics.
Yeah. So if your life was ever to be a video game, a TV show, or a song, what would it be named and why?
Probably Many Lives would be the title of it because
wow.
I feel like, and I've said this a lot, like I feel like my life in 33 years has been divided up into a few different sections.
Yeah.
It feels like I've almost lived a couple of lives. I mean, I was playing, you know, sports at a pretty high level back in the day. I had those, you know, the bands that I would practice around, and I was like kind of well known in the Mid-Atlantic area. Not really, but you know, I mean, I like just so many different things I've done and places I've worked, and then 2 different sides of the country. So it just feels like I've had a couple of different lives.
Yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've ever tasted?
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder, probably like a spicy soda or something. I mean, I've had like some of those weird drinks where they're like, you know, I'm always weird about what I eat and what I drink and stuff. I usually just have like a couple of go-tos that I have throughout the week. But I definitely had like this weird, like hot soda. I don't know if it was a Mountain Dew or something back in the day. And it was just like, I mean, before all kinds of weird drinks started becoming more mainstream and stuff. But like at the time I was just like, oh my God, who would ever have this? This is so weird. You know, like one of those things.
Yeah. So what's your favorite drink?
God, favorite drink that I probably don't ever have is chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. I could have it
all the
time, but I never drink it. So now, I mean, the thing I drink all the time is like usually Diet Pepsi, but I don't necessarily love it. It's just something to drink.
Yeah. So what are some of your plans for the rest of 2024 in general?
God, it's changing every day. I mean, I have like a set group of goals and things that I want to hit and plans for stream and YouTube, but you know, every time I think, okay, we're getting somewhere with these, I just think of more ideas. So as of this point, I want to grow the second YouTube channel I made because it's not super consistent with what I release, but every time I do release something, it does pretty well, and it's like fun for me to make and stuff like that. So probably get on like a 2 to 3 video a month release schedule for that channel. And then my third YouTube channel, I want to just get more stream clips and things up on that. But be more consistent with that, I think, is what the plan is for YouTube. And then for Twitch, I definitely want to get those lifestyle streams going on the other channel. And the main channel, I just want to keep things going and growing. I just want to be as consistent as possible with this channel. That's been my goal from day one, whether I knew it or not, was like just keep everything as, you know, familiar as possible for myself and everybody involved in the channel. Because, you know, I like the thing that always worried me about hitting partner is like, what happens afterwards? Do people, you know, look at you different? Do the interactions become different? Does the stream change? And I was like, I want to keep this, you know, there's nothing, again, that out of my control. There's nothing I can do about that, but the stuff I can control, like when I stream, how I stream, what I stream, that stuff got to stay the same. So, you know, before, during, and after that whole partner time, I wanted it to be exactly the same. And so that's the other goal, is just kind of keep it consistent. But that's kind of what I got. That's definitely going to happen. You know, be more active on the socials and stuff. But as far as any other ideas and things for the channels, I mean, you know, who knows? Next month it could be completely different for new ideas and things. Yeah.
So, if you had the chance to switch lives with one celebrity from today, who would you pick and why?
Probably. I don't know how much of a celebrity, but Devin Townsend is somebody I've always looked up to.
I don't know if
he's a Canadian musician. It's funny, he's recorded like 23, 24 albums, something like that. He was in Strapping Young Lad, and he was the front man for that, and he has his own music. He toured with Steve Vai, and I mean, he's done all kinds of things with a lot of huge bands. He's so low-key still, so I love that he's able to survive on what he does and does something he loves, but also is like very low key and has a low profile despite being such an influential musician. Like nobody really knows him, but then people hear stuff he does and they're like, oh yeah, I know that song. It's like, yeah, it was all Devin Townsend. It's crazy. So I think that's kind of the good mix of like, you know, you have influence and you are like a celebrity, but not to that point where you're, you know, doing crazy stuff day in and day out or a detriment to society or whatever.
What's which of these three things you'd give up if you have ever had or if you ever have to? Money, gaming, or love?
Gaming, because you need money to survive. I mean, I love Bubbles. I can't live without her, really.
Aw.
And
Yeah.
you know, that's two easy ones. But then at the same time, gaming. I mean, I like gaming, but it's not really what brought me to Twitch, and it's not really what I do on Twitch for the most part. You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, in general, I mean, I'm fine just hanging out in a Discord call and talking to people while I do stuff. I'm fine just watching people play games or being part of stuff. So I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah. So something you always wanted to learn but you didn't find time for?
God, everything. I mean, man, I wish I was better at, you know, playing guitar. I'm like, I know some basic stuff on guitar and bass, but, you know, different techniques like slapping or, you know, whatever. I wish I was better at that. Music theory in general, I guess. Technology stuff. I mean, if I could have any kind of grasp on, you know, building PCs and technology issues and things like that, that would be incredible. Graphic design. I mean, there's so many skills. I could go on and on.
Yeah. And the final question in the segment, what's the weirdest habit you got?
Copying sounds. Like, I try to imitate accents, sounds,
Oh my god.
voices, things like that all the time. And I don't even, like, it just happens. I mean, like, I'll just be, like, a microwave could beep, and I'll try to imitate that sound. Or, like, you know, the funniest one is, I was just at work, you know, closing the store down, and the alarm was being set. There's this little, like, jingle it does on the pin pad, and I would imitate that sound. And my friend goes, what just happened? Why did it do it twice? And I was like, oh no, that second time it was me. And he was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, just some weird little thing I do all the time. I don't know.
Can you imitate something really on the spot for now?
So I do this weird whistle thing where I just go like, and I don't know what that is. It's like some kind of like
the Twitter thingy? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I've heard it before. I don't even know what it is. I just heard it. But yeah, so I'll just like try to do things like that.
I think, have you played Cities Skylines or seen someone play it?
No.
Because that sound is in there, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, you know, I'll do like I don't know if you heard that or not.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but I've heard that somewhere, and that's just in
It's
my
either a
time.
bubble popping or a cap or like a bottle cap being opened.
Yeah, it's like, and I'll just randomly do that throughout the day.
Honestly, I can imitate a chihuahua. Oh my god. I don't know why, but some people told me like I sound like a dog or I sound like a chihuahua.
Yeah, and that's the funny little things that we just kind of do, you know. And I didn't notice it until you know, a few years ago when it was pointed out. And now I'm just like, oh yeah, that's just something I've been doing forever.
Yep, it's now like a part of you or a habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's a mini game I've added before we get intense and serious in the mental health in the next segment. In this mini game, I will name a set of 3 games each time. You will have to tell me which one you'd play, which one you'd delete from existence, and which one you'd uninstall or play once and uninstall. This also includes the whole franchise.
Okay.
So Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, and Battlefield.
Okay, so Call of Duty I would probably play. Delete, I'd say Battlefield. I've never even played one of those. So
Ubisoft.
I'm fine with that.
I mean EA, sorry.
Oh yeah, and so like Counter-Strike is probably one I'd maybe try and then just delete.
Yeah,
but
I think
Call of Duty-
Counter-Strike. Yeah, Counter-Strike is like the mother of these games.
Oh yeah, no, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I have respect for all 3 franchises, but as far as me personally, I mean, I don't know it.
Yeah.
Battlefield, I never even touched it.
No worries. Yeah. So Apex, Fortnite, and Valorant.
Oh, Valorant, I would delete in a heartbeat. I can't stand it. I've played it, but I just
Yeah,
can't. So yeah, that.
yeah.
At the moment, I'd say, despite how much I played Apex, I'd probably play it, and then I don't even have it installed right now, so I'm kind of living that right now. And then Fortnite, I guess we just keep around.
Okay, so PUBG, Overwatch 2, and Halo.
Delete Overwatch. I don't enjoy Overwatch at all. PUBG, I'd probably play once and then be fine uninstalling that, and then Halo I'd play.
Okay, so I think the following are like three kind of retro games: Quake, Doom, and Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls I would definitely keep. I play Elder Scrolls. Doom I could play and uninstall, and then Quake. I have a Quake game right next to me, and I'm gonna play it, but yeah, I could live without Quake.
Okay. Lethal Company, Content Warning, and Among Us.
Okay. Among Us I'd play once and then be fine uninstalling that.
Okay.
Content warning, I don't ever see me playing it again, so
Oh,
that can be fine.
again.
Like
Oh my God.
yeah, I had a good couple of times on that, but after,
Okay.
it's just so stale so fast. But
Yeah.
Lethal Company, I love. I could play that all day, every day.
Yeah. So Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, and Diablo.
Um, I am not huge into like the whole lore and world of Baldur's Gate or anything, so I know it's a great franchise and people love it, but I don't know a thing about it, so I could probably
Same.
delete that one and be
Same.
fine. And then
Yeah.
Elden Ring, I've never played that either. I could probably play that and then uninstall it because I played Dark Souls 3 and it just, I
Oh
barely could
God.
even play that one. So yeah, it was. But Diablo, I like Diablo a lot actually. I never had much experience with that franchise.
I
either.
love
I played it
Diablo.
a fair amount.
I
so.
love Diablo. Diablo 4 is on the list of games for for next month. So I choose next month. I kind of trespassed on the amount of games I usually do. So I'm gonna do like 5 or 6 next month. Like
Okay.
I kept Kingdom Hearts 3 and Goat Simulator 3 because like I'm doing these and I'm focusing on them.
Yeah.
Goat Sim 3 is like a weekly thing that I do with a friend, like a co-stream, and we have guests on it, and it's crazy fun. And Kingdom Hearts 3, I just love the franchise, so I want to finish because the third one is my favorite installment. And I put in some Pokemon, put in some Diablo here and there. There's always like Dying Light in the mix, so
Yeah, no, that's good, and it's nice that you just do like we talked about it before, but
yeah,
it's nice that you just
variety.
want to do exactly what you want to do. That's
Yeah,
how you do it.
yeah. I even played like a platforming game that nobody has ever heard of, and every time I say the name, they think it's another game. The Simpsons game. They think, oh, Hit and Run. I'm like, no, the Simpsons game. They're like, which game? I'm like, the Simpsons game of 2007. They're like, oh, that exists. I'm like, yeah. So it's nice to open the eyes of people towards games that are in abandonware, which is what I focus on. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm also doing Minecraft Story Mode, which is a Telltale game.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, season 1 and 2. I'm gonna start with season 1, then I'm gonna do season 2. So, Valheim, Stardew, and Minecraft. Speaking of Minecraft,
Minecraft I'd keep around forever.
Yeah.
I could play Minecraft any day. Also, we could. I like all these games. I could delete Stardew though because I haven't played it in forever. And then Valheim, I literally did just play it one day and then never played it again. And I like the game, but I just at the time didn't have a PC that could run it, and to this day I just haven't picked it up since. But I do love that game, so I probably would play it once or twice and then be fine not playing it anymore.
okay. The Sims, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and Palia.
I could get rid of Disney.
Okay.
Sims definitely we're keeping around. I love watching Sims streamers and The Sims in general, and playing it. I haven't had any success playing it, but it's always fun when I do. And then Paleo, I think I could play it a couple of times and be okay not playing it anymore.
I need to go back to The Sims. I need to update my game and just go back to building. I do mostly gameplay. I don't focus on building more. I do all the aspects because people love building more or create a sim more. I do more gameplay, which is like a little bit rare nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, like, that's how it was when I played The Sims. Like, when it was like Sims. They didn't even have numbers at the time. It was just back in the day playing The Sims. It was, all you did was live your virtual life on there and your job, family, all that stuff. You did funny things.
Yeah.
Now you can, do all those building and there's shell challenges and all kinds of stuff. It's wild.
Yeah. So Phasmophobia, Demonologist, and Devour.
Okay. I could get rid of Demonologist.
Okay.
Phasmophobia, I'm definitely playing every day. I keep it. And then Devour, that's a game that, you play it when you have the right group of people and
the right mindset.
Play it otherwise.
Yeah. Destiny 2, Mass Effect, and Dead Space.
Mass Effect we'd probably keep. Destiny I could get rid of. Yeah, I think I'm good with those three being that way. And
okay.
Dead Space I'd play and be okay with.
Visage, Madison, and Five Nights at Freddy's.
Madison I would probably play and then uninstall. Five Nights at Freddy's I've never even messed with those, so I think I'm good to delete them. And then Visage I would probably play quite often.
Dead Island, Left 4 Dead, and Dying Light.
Dying Light I'd play. Dead Island I would probably play and then uninstall, yeah, and then I'd be able to delete.
Yeah. So here's a tricky one. Project Zomboid, 7 Days to Die, and The Last of Us.
Well, 7 Days I'm keeping for sure. I love that game. I always have. Project Zomboid I've never had any experience with, so I'm gonna just plead ignorance and delete that one, even though it's probably awesome.
Yeah.
Last of Us we could probably just play and then, well, yeah, especially because Last of Us, like, I think it's more of like almost like a movie, I mean, just the way it plays out, so I could probably be fine just doing it once and then being done with it.
Okay. Alan Wake, Resident Evil, and The Evil Within.
Keeping Resident Evil, Alan Wake we could play once, and then Evil Within I'm good not having that around.
Okay. DVD, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Evil Dead the Game.
Get rid of Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw I could play once, and then DVD we're keeping.
I hate DVD with a passion.
Yeah, I don't love it, but it's playing Killer, it's one of those games like Phasmo where, like, I don't care what happens. I can just talk and, play the game, and if everybody gets away, it doesn't bother me. I'm not letting anybody down or anything, so it's just been one of those things where I just have found a strange just chatting game.
So Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider.
Ooh. Yeah, these are some good ones. I'll probably keep Uncharted, play Assassin's Creed, and we could get rid of Tomb Raider.
Okay. Cyberpunk, GTA, and Saints Row.
I can get rid of Cyberpunk. We can keep playing GTA, and then Saints Row I'll play once and be good.
I love Saints Row.
I do too, but I only like, I think, Saints Row 2. The other ones, they're okay. Yeah. Some of them are okay, but I really love Saints Row 2. Grand Theft Auto, I've liked pretty much every one of them.
I am crazy waiting for GTA 6, honestly. Next year, we're going to have a splurge of, like, big games like Zelda, not the new Zelda, but like there's like Pokemon. Sorry, Pokemon Legends ZA. We're gonna have The Sims 5. We're gonna have GTA 6. We're gonna have Subnautica 2. We're gonna have a lot of things next year, so I'm hyped.
Man, that's crazy. I know that's wild how many good things are coming out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And the final one for the segment is Little Nightmares, Alien, and Silent Hills.
Alien we're keeping. Love that franchise. Little Nightmares I'll play and then be good, and then Silent Hill I have no experience with that, so I can get rid of that.
Okay, okay. So this is the last segment. In this segment, we'll be talking about mental health and some sensitive subjects. Something I say every episode. Some subjects might seem triggering or heavy because we've spoken a lot of things about a lot of triggering subjects in the past. So be well aware as you listen, and feel free to either skip or dip out on the segment if you feel uncomfortable about some subjects. This also applies to the future episodes. Mental health is not an easy subject to talk about. So, as I said, this segment I'm not going to talk. It's all up to Andy. So, if anything happens, listen at your own risk. Guys, as I say in every episode. So Andy, you're telling me that you have like a couple of things you'd want to talk about, showcase and everything. I'm gonna shut up. This is your segment, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of points in my life where, I mean, we've all had, experiences where I think we've looked back and said, okay, this is where I need to figure some stuff out, I guess. And for me, nothing has been particularly like, oh, that was a horrible life-changing event. I mean, there's been times when I think I look back and I wish I had appreciated life and things more. I've always been a more, I guess just hardworking person more than anything. So I haven't had time to sit and just wait for things to kind of wash over me. So what happened recently is when I lost a job. I've never lost a job before. Like, I started working around 16 years old and just worked 1 or 2 full-time jobs ever since. So when I lost this job a couple of years ago, it was something that like I had never expected or saw coming, something I didn't even think could happen. Because I just figured out, you just work, you just do your thing, and you just move on through it. And when that happened, it made me think like all of this stuff I had been working hard at, all this stuff I had been doing, all this, prepping for the future, having ideas of what the future could be or should be, meant absolutely nothing. And at that moment, I wasn't going from job to job. I wasn't working 12 hours and coming home and streaming. I wasn't doing anything other than just, I'd wake up, I'd have literally nowhere to go and nothing to do besides streaming. And so, at that point, I was kind of like, well, I'm going to work hard at this and take this time to kind of reflect and think about things and change some things. But it was, like I say, the first time all that had washed over me that, wow, everything I had done in the past is literally just the past now. I mean, everything forward is what I plan to do from here on out. So that's why, people look at me and they go, oh, you do, all this YouTube, you do all this Twitch stuff. You never take time for yourself. And I'm like, this whole time period right now is time for myself. I'm literally doing the things I want to do with the people I want to do them with. And that's how I'm living my life now. If I hang out with my family, I'm going to appreciate those moments. So a big thing that I was thinking of over the last, couple of years is like, wow, I would go to a family function and hang out with people and be with people I cared about a lot. But I would think, oh, I got to work tomorrow, so got to go. I got to cut this short, got to go to sleep. Friends, family, whatever. And, a lot of that's just not around anymore. Now I wake up and it's just me here, family down the road, but not as much family as I used to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I look back at some of those holidays, some of those things I had cut short, some of those things I thought I was being responsible in the moment, thought I was being like, he's doing what he's supposed to do. But really, all I was doing is just cutting time with those valuable people in my life short for myself and for them, and then not ever having a chance to go back, now and enjoy that time. So this has been a whole reflecting period, the last 2 years of just making sure that I don't waste those times. I mean, I look back and I think, man, my first job ever was incredible because of the people I was around, the things I was doing. It was catering, but it was a private company. So I was really learning skills and just doing the things I've always wanted to do without even realizing those are the things I wanted to do. Now the job doesn't exist anymore. So I can't go back and just do that. Like if it existed, I could go stream and work there and do whatever, but now I can't. And, you don't realize that kind of stuff in the moment. So this has been a whole lot of like looking back and thinking, how can I make this time right now the best possible? So when I look back at this, I won't think, damn, that, those were great times. I wish I had really appreciated it. Something that just kind of like always is upsetting. And I can't put my head like in other people's mindsets when they say they're like really, they're worried about the future. They're worried about what's going on, or they're not having a good time. And I wish I could, but it's so hard for me to relate to that now. And it's frustrating because like if somebody's having a bad time and they say like, oh yeah, this is just the worst time and nothing's going to get better. And this is just a horrible thing that's happening to me right now. I always try to throw silver linings and say like, oh, well, things get better, or we can change this, or we just got to enjoy this, because you don't want to look back in 10 years and say, oh, well, that was actually a pretty good time in my life, but I didn't appreciate it enough now. And it ends up, coming off the wrong way, of course. So I want to help more and I want to do more things and share that perspective. But it's always hard for me too, because I don't want to come off as like, oh yeah, condescending or holier than thou or anything like that. So this whole, like, it's a lot that has been kind of condensed into this time period of reflecting, but it's really shaped how I look at things. Back in, I want to say 2008 or 9 or something, I became a store manager at a store. And that was when there was this weird time period of, I don't care about anything other than results. And that was a tough time for people around me. And a perspective shift needed to happen as well. So
you were young at the time, right? Like in 2009, you were young at the time.
I was probably
in your teen
19
days.
years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 19 to like 20 years old or so. And I, like I say, all I knew was like work hard, do a good job. If you're not doing something, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
And so like, yeah, that whole time, I mean, it was just this weird mentality of, results, whether it was me or somebody else. Like I was not satisfied with anything. And, like I still work hard and everything like that, but I look at it differently now. And so up until maybe, I don't know, 2018 or so, I was store manager at a couple of different stores, and I was a very good manager. I got a lot of stuff done. I, had great numbers across the board, and it was a good team around me. But I kind of started thinking like, we can look at things positively and also get results, instead of saying like, this is hard work and this is, I hate going to work or whatever, like, how about, what if I look at it like, hey, I can do whatever I want when I get home. I just have to earn it while I'm here, and like, look at it the positive way. Like, hey, I did a great thing today. I can do a great thing tomorrow. I can make somebody feel good about what they're doing versus telling them, they need to do more, do better, or whatever. And so that shift of like positivity kind of started then. And man, it has changed everything, because I used to look at life and just be like, yep, it's, it is what it is. It's just live until you don't live anymore. And that was essentially just it. It was like, you got to survive, and that's all there is to it. But now over the last 5-6 years, it's been more like, well, what can we get out of life, what can we see in life and stuff like that. And it kind of goes back to the whole enjoy your moments thing, because I just am so I'm so passionate about just people doing what they want to do, me doing what I want to do and creating what I want to create finally. I talk about it all the time, where like there's so many people that'll just tell you no, you can't, or you shouldn't, or whatever, and it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like, if the only person that can stop you from actually doing anything is yourself. So it doesn't matter what anybody else says, it matters what you say. And I've had to tell myself that over and over again over these last 6 years, like, yeah, just go for that thing, do that thing, start that project. I mean, because we started this conversation at the beginning of this on YouTube, and how it was like, for years I wanted to, but just didn't. And even when I started streaming, I didn't start YouTube until 3 years later, because it was just like, I still can't do YouTube, but like, why? Why was I like that? Mm-hmm. Just get going, do stuff like that. So that's been my thing, is like just having to really break that mold. And I think my family's kind of helped me with that too. My dad was always like, hey, you got to work hard, you got to do this, nothing matters but surviving and making a living. And I just had this fear of like failure forever, and not in like a bad way where I'd be disowned or beat or something, but it just like in a way of like, oh well, I have to make myself something, I have to be something. Lately it's been more like, I mean, they're like my number one supporters, which is crazy because I never would have guessed. I mean, they have hats and shirts, and they're always watching and stuff, they're always talking about it and coming up with ideas. And it's just my parents are just that anomaly where I never would have assumed they would be like that. And I don't know why, but it just never felt that way until I started getting excited about stuff. So you just never know. And I just want people to know that going for it is not some life-changing crazy process all the time. It's just make yourself happy, do what you want to do. It's been hard to learn that, but finally it's kind of sinking in a little bit more every day.
Yeah. So basically, like, life has been a lesson lately, more than like an experience. If we can say that. I mean,
that's just it. I mean, it's like, it's whatever I can make it now. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of struggles outside of streaming, but at the end of the day, the one consistent thing has been I get on stream, I have a good time. That's the space. Like, I don't have to think about anything else other than what's right in front of me. So, I mean, something else that I've kind of grappled with is, if I have like a bill I can't pay or something, mm-hmm. instead of worrying about that for 30 days straight, worrying about it's not going to do anything. So I come up with a solution, or, I just enjoy what I can until that has to be tackled. Because, I mean, if I'm not working at it, then there's no point in thinking about it 24/7, because, I'm just going to be ruining the valuable time that I have left. It kind of just like, more than being something for someone else, being something for myself finally, because I've always wanted to just, I think a lot of the work I've done, or like the I show up, I literally have never called out of work a day in my life. Like, I just show up on time every time. I try to do as much as I can. I try to support others when I'm working. But I think a lot of that is more selfish than anything, because I just want to mean something to somebody. And that's just been something I've kind of recently discovered as well, as like, I mean, yeah, it's great to work hard and everything, but when you're just trying to validate your existence based on how hard you work, or, meaning something to more people and not yourself, it's just kind of like, it's just a very backwards, weird mentality that'll kind of leave you burnt out. But I guess that's the same thing with, streaming and stuff. A lot of people look at it like, oh, well, if I don't, have this platform anymore, what do I matter? But I don't think that's necessarily the case. And I'm glad I've never looked at it like that. But it's something I definitely had to like kind of figure out along the way.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, I try my best to support people, and like, people have been giving me like special roles here and there. I got quite a few diamonds in some channels, quite a few swords. I ended up started with like 2 swords, ended up with 20, with like having 3 or 4 off the radar, or
Yeah.
3 not consistently, 3 like completely shut down, and 1 that's not very consistent. But I'm honored to be there because like we're close friends. We're like we know each other. We don't have to be there if we can't. And I try to support, and I like people are baffled at like how much I support, not only by being there, but like by also moderating some channels, because I'm
Yeah.
like at 5 places at once.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's weird how Twitch is interesting, and just streaming,
Yeah.
I guess, in general is interesting
Yeah.
because a lot of people are more and there's no fault to them or anything like that, but what I've seen is a lot of people are more concerned about who they're supporting or who they're showing up for every single day than they are about what they themselves are creating. And I think that's a quick way to burn out too, is like, oh well, I've done so much for so many people and I'm not seeing it in return. But it's just kind of that, like, I will support people I can when I can, but I'm not gonna. I'm very much no expectations in my stream, and I
Yeah.
don't want to have expectations put on me either. So like,
Yeah.
if you're in my stream, I don't have to be in your stream. If I'm in your stream, you don't have to be in mine.
Yeah.
I'm just there because I want to be there, or I can be
Same
there, or
here.
anything like that.
Same here.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people get upset or burnt out or like, discouraged because there's this weird mentality of like just support, be all over the place, network, grow, do this. But it's like, how about create? Like, we've forgotten that creating something and
Create and support. Support doesn't mean like there's something I do every week. Like, okay, I have a diamond in like, let's say 7 channels. This week I want to support those 2 channels. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
I'm not there. The next week I want to give my love to the other 2 channels. It doesn't mean I hate
Exactly.
the other 2 channels. Like
Yeah,
I
and the
divide
big
my
thing
time.
is-
Yeah.
You just gotta, you gotta keep yourself fresh too,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know. This is the weirdest industry in the world, because like, if somebody makes a movie, and it's not a movie that a lot of people watch, the director doesn't get mad at the people not watching the movie. A TV show, if you're not watching a TV show every week, the network executives don't get mad at the viewers. So it's like, why, when some people go live, do they get upset that nobody is watching them? Like, it's not anybody's job to be in your stream or anything. So I've always looked at it like, if I'm live because I want to be live, I want to make something, I want to just do my thing, and if people want to be part of that, they can. If not, that's fine too. And it's like this weird, like, backwards thing of more, put your effort into other things than what really matters, and keeping yourself entertained and having a good time, whether it's creating or viewing. Like, I can't. I've never seen a TV show released every single week, every day for 7 hours a day, which is what a stream is essentially. It's like, hey, I'm live for, 7 hours, 4 days a week, but I can't expect people to be there for all 7 hours every single day.
Yep.
And just, there's some people that expect that kind of stuff from you. So I have zero expectations
Oh,
on
yeah.
what I support, what I do, all that stuff. So that's been a big thing of mine too, is like, I want to make sure people are actually having fun and making things on Twitch and streaming in general. Like, it's just, that's so important, and
Yeah.
I don't want that to get completely lost. I mean, the support's awesome, but there's also ways to support where you don't have to be in front of your screen every single day, all day. I mean, if I retweet your stream, maybe more people see that stream, and that's a way to support. If I guide a raid to your stream, I don't even have to be there. I could just tell somebody, hey, raid
Oh, yeah.
this. This buddy is celebrating a birthday,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's just so many ways to do it.
Some
But-
people get triggered by suggestions sometimes, because I've had like a lot of like people where they got like salty about it. I'm like, I usually rate people I follow, and then they end up rating new people that they don't follow. I'm like,
Right.
okay, but what's about my suggestion? Like, why don't you take my suggestion in hand? Like, because I've had a
Yeah.
lot of falling because of that, and I'm like, I'm just trying to link people, like.
Yeah. I totally get that, and I know that. Like, I don't have a guide the raid redemption because, like,
Yeah.
there's. I mean, I know more people than I stream each year, and there's no way I could possibly raid every single person I know
Time
in a
zones.
year, let alone if I had random people I was, like I don't mind checking. I take suggestions for checking out streamers or friends of friends. That I have no problem with, and then we could potentially raid them later on. But
Yeah.
if somebody had asked me to take a raid to a person I've never met before, I don't know what I'm bringing my buddies to. I don't know what my friends are going to go see. So it could be a great place. It could be a tough place to be. If I get to check them out a couple of streams beforehand, that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the suggested jump in there and But if you have a guide the raid redeem and you guide them to my stream or a friend's stream, it's the greatest thing in the world. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's awesome. But it is one of those things where you just got to be careful too. So I totally get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love meeting new people, but sometimes it's scary because I've had a few altercations with people that aren't on a good spot, if we can say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've had a lot of disagreements.
Yeah, I mean it happens. It's millions of people with millions of different viewpoints and intentions and expectations.
Yeah.
All in the same platform. It's a wild thing.
Yeah. Andy Havoc, thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was a pleasure. I mean, I had a really, really good time doing this.
Same here. Guys, don't be discouraged. Go check Andy Havoc out. Andy_Havoc. It's his handle is the name of the episode. Don't be discouraged by the tick mark that he has. As you've heard, he's just a simple, very lovely, a very lovable person. He doesn't aim for big goals, so just hang out, chill. Don't chat, just lurk. Just lurk. Just chill. I love being there. Sometimes you know how Twitch denies you a lurk if you have several tabs open. It only counts you on 2 channels. So that's why sometimes I don't come up in people's channels, and they're like, "Oh, but yeah." And then I tell them what they were doing, and they were like, "Oh my God, yes, but that's weird. You didn't come up, but you knew this exact moment, and you knew this exact same phrase I said." And sometimes I even clip stuff, and then they look at their stream results in the end, or whatever you call them, stream summary, and they were like, "You don't show up. How the heck did you clip a clip and you don't show up?" I'm like, Twitch, she denies a lurk in other channels, gives you a lurk in 2 channels. So that's what happens sometimes. But I'm mostly there when you're live, whenever I can, of course. So
yeah, and like I say, it's not any expectation or anything. I mean, I want people to enjoy the stream how they can, when they can. Chat, don't chat, whatever the case may be. It's just, I mean, I enjoy it so much that anything else that happens is just a cherry on top of the cake, really.
100%, and that's the kind of support we need nowadays. It's not like, oh, you have a diamond here. No, you feel. Sometimes when I started having those diamonds, I felt burdened because of oh, but I have a diamond here. Oh my God, he's gonna take it away. Oh my God, no, I need to be here. No, I need to be here. I'm at your mentality at the moment. I'm just fuck it. Just go with it.
Have fun.
Just live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and thank you again, Andy, for being here. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.